Hallelujah, the preseason is finally over, ladies and gentlemen. We can now start focusing on real football. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video, subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. We got so many people hovering around this channel. Just subscribe it up, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're an Arizona Cardinal fan. We're going to be following the Cardinals all year long, and hallelujah, right? Let's definitely go ahead and smash that like button here for the preseason being over. I'm absolutely excited to get some real football going on. Now, this marks the end of the preseason for the Arizona Cardinals, and this game was very telling in a lot of different ways. One of the biggest reasons why is that in the third preseason game or the final preseason game, you don't really see a lot of the starters for any teams. We definitely didn't see Marquise Hollywood-Brown. We didn't see James Conner. We didn't see a lot of the starting offensive linemen. Basically, everybody wasn't playing, right? These were the guys that were fringe players that were going to get either an opportunity to make the 53-man roster or are bubble type of players, right? Now, a player that we didn't see today, which I was very surprised with, is cornerback Keitrell Clark. That we ended up drafting this last year, and honestly, I think he is a shoo-in for the 53-man roster. That is kind of telling because our cornerback position right now is kind of up in the air, right? We have Marco Wilson, we also got Antonio Hamilton, but there is kind of a lot of room for growth, a lot of room for opportunity within this roster, so there is going to be a lot of openings. This Tuesday is when we're going to find out the actual 53-man roster, but let's talk about Vikings versus Cardinals. I think we saw a lot of good things, right? Now, we did recently sign a player not too long ago, and that is none other than Zach McCloud. This man went off today. I definitely got to give kudos to where kudos is due. This man got 3 sacks today. 3 sacks for Zach McCloud, 3 tackles, 2 assists. I feel like he was kind of everywhere, right? Now, there was a moment when our defense looked like we were just basically Swiss cheese and everything. We couldn't stop anything, right? And I think this is kind of where the biggest concern is with Cardinal fans, is that we feel like we have players, but when injuries start piling up, which we don't want injuries, nobody wants injuries at any of their teams, but if that were to happen, that's where the concern is, right? Because there's a lack of depth within this Arizona Cardinal roster. So yes, we are going to be knowing what our 53-man roster is, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to be making changes, right? Because we're going to cut it down this Tuesday, but so is the rest of the NFL. So if the Arizona Cardinals were going to want to maybe pick apart some of the other people that were cut as well, then maybe we can definitely add them into our 53-man roster as well and make some late-minute cuts. So we'll have to wait and see how it all turns out. Now, a couple players that I want to talk about here real quick before we get to the highlights is that Matt Prater missed a field goal as well as an extra point as well. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of tired on Matt Prater. I'm actually very surprised that he came back in this year. I liked Matt Prater truly when we first signed him and his career with the Lions, but there's just been some sort of inconsistencies, and it started with last year, and it's kind of trickling his way into this year. Now, we did also hear that we got Cooney being his holder now, and that might be a situation where they're going to have to kind of go through the bumps and bruises, where maybe that might be coming into play as well because he's got a new holder of the ball. But man, this isn't the first year we're starting to see some inconsistency. So I really do hope the Arizona Cardinals really evaluate the kicker position, because we had at least 2 to 3 games last year that were kind of crucial for the Arizona Cardinals to win, and unfortunately we couldn't get some of those kicks nailed in. That was kind of the negative, right? The defense starting the game was kind of bad, but they seemed to kind of clean it up for the Arizona Cardinals, so definitely kudos to that. Let's talk about the quarterbacks out there. Clayton Tune started this game here, went 9 for 12 with 85 yards. There was a couple plays that I was like, oh man, head scratching, right? He missed a deep shot and maybe could have been a touchdown. Instead, if he kind of threw it over to a player that was double coverage, and that was kind of concerning. But that kind of goes to show you that Clayton Tune, although I want him to start, might not be 100% ready. Now, you also got to keep in mind as well that the Arizona Cardinals have not allowed him to start with starters, right? We haven't seen him with Marquise. We haven't seen him with Michael Wilson, although in training we saw that and that they were giving him an opportunity. In these games, we haven't really seen it. So it's kind of really, really hard to evaluate Clayton Tune, but we'll have to kind of wait and see, especially with the acquisition of Joshua Dobbs as the new quarterback coming in here as well. it's going to get very, very hairy, right, for the Arizona Cardinals quarterback room. Now, there was obviously a big knock on Clayton Tune when there was zero coverage from the Vikings, and one of the very first few plays that were happening when the offense came in, he got sacked, right? He didn't know how to kind of combat that zero coverage, and he got sacked, and the Vikings ended up getting a touchdown. Now, those were kind of the only couple touchdowns that we ended up seeing from the Vikings very, very early, and we kind of got into a hole very, very early, but we got to give kudos to where kudos is due, and I do believe that Clayton Tune actually rebounded very, very well the drive after. Now, he didn't play a full 2 quarters, right? He ended up getting pulled out in the second quarter, and then we ended up seeing David Blau for a good majority of this game, and we definitely got to give kudos to where kudos is due, because David Blau played his heart out today. He absolutely did. That's what I'm curious about. I'm curious to figure out how this quarterback room is going to shake out. Maybe Kyler Murray will not be removed off the PUP list, right? Maybe we're going to be rolling with, Colt McCoy, Clayton Tune, as well as maybe Joshua Dobbs coming in. I want David Blau to make this roster, I really do, but there's only so many positions that the Cardinals can kind of use up for quarterbacks. He might be the single man out. I don't see the Arizona Cardinals cutting Clayton Tune. I don't see them obviously cutting Dobbs, because they just traded for him. The only kind of people that I'm very, very curious about is McCoy. If he doesn't have it, they might cut him. He might be a notable cut, and then as well as David Blau. But we'll see, right? We'll see. If McCoy goes, then Blau has an opportunity, especially if Kyler Murray doesn't get removed off of the PUP list. So it's just kind of a lot of wait and see at this very moment. But the Arizona Cardinals, most likely at this very moment when I'm recording this video, seems like we are currently winning by 1 point, 18-17 against the Minnesota Vikings. Those are kind of the big names out there. Or actually, one more person, or 2 more people I want to talk about. Davion Davis, a standout, and I believe he was from the USFL, a standout, but he did really, really good this game. 3 receptions, 43 yards, 1 touchdown. But just the way he kind of came out, and there was also another PI called for Davion Davis that helped us continue our drive. And man, I think Davion Davis is definitely a bubble player, but he might be one of those players that can be sneaky. Maybe we can kind of throw him into special teams if we absolutely need him. Punt returner, you never know, right? Kick returner, punt returner, you never know what we can do here with Davion Davis's talent. But I really do like what I've seen from him. Corey Clement has got a good bulk of this offense on the ground, and I think he really, really shined today. 14 carries, 79 yards, at least when I'm recording currently this video with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And I think he did a very good job. Very, very good job. There was some opportunities where the defense could have stopped him up, and all he did was a nice little cut, and the rest is history there for Corey Clement. And he's got some tread in his tires, right? He has some NFL experience, so that will definitely kind of help out the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I guess one big notable person is Blake Whiteheart. I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about him as well, especially with the catch that he ended up getting up the seam from Clayton Tune, and that was a really, really good catch, right? A contested catch that he ended up getting hit, and the ball could have got knocked out, but no, he held the ball, right? He held the ball, and that definitely kudos to him for that. But overall, this game is preseason, right? It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. The moment that the clock strikes 0-0-0 and the game is over, this doesn't matter. It's all up to regular season at this very moment, and all of us are just very excited to finally get some regular season football here for the Arizona Cardinals. So let me know if there's something that you guys thought of in this game that you were kind of impressed with that I didn't mention. Definitely let me know in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cards.